Hello everyone, welcome to Free Range Diva. Thank you so much for stopping by today, because today we're going to be talking about one of the most important pillars of wellness, which is good food and good nutrition. There are several pillars of wellness, 4 to be exact, and over the course of this channel I've bounced around between all 4, but today it's all about food and how you can make cooking at home easy. The purpose of this video is to help you cut the cord to the takeout menus and the fast food restaurants, and not worse, just having a donut or something for dinner and forget, nothing else because you're too darn tired to make a real nutritious meal. And even if you weren't, you don't have the stuff you need for it in your refrigerator or in your pantry. I mean, it all begins with food. So this can sabotage your efforts to lose weight, have good health, get good blood numbers, whatever it is, or just have the energy to get through your day. If you're not getting protein, fiber, and healthy fats, your body is just not going to have what it needs to do what you need to get done. It just isn't. Actually, my mother's doctor was just giving us a lecture, to her, not me, about feeding your brain by eating 3 times a day, because your brain, like any other part of your body, but your brain needs nutrition. And we get our nutrition from healthy, whole foods. So let's get more of those into our diet and cut that cord, cut that takeout menu cord. It's going to save you time. It's going to leave you healthier, and more importantly, it's going to save you money, okay? I just had a rude awakening eating out at restaurants for a couple of days. It's expensive. You don't want to do it every night, all right? So yeah, let's save some money and feel better and better nourished at the same time. I've got some ideas that are almost going to put your home cooking experience on autopilot. So if cooking at home made easy sounds like something you're interested in, then give this video a thumbs up and let's jump into it. So number 1 on my list is to organize your pantry. Now there are tons of pantry organization videos on YouTube. I'm not going to show you my pantry before and after, but my approach to organizing might be a little bit different. I'm sure we've all had the experience where you go to your pantry to get something, a particular ingredient for something you're making, and you realize you thought you had it, but you don't. Or worse for me is you forget what's in there, and one day you realize that pushed all the way to the back is something that's been there for over 2 years and now it's expired. In fact, this is what prompted the whole organization of my pantry that I did a few days ago. So for me, what I needed is to make sure that the ingredients that I use most often are at eye level at least, or between, I would say, the hips and, oh, you need to be further back, don't you? Hold on. So between the hip and this pretty much level right here, in between this kind of sweet spot right here. I don't want to have ingredients that I use a lot, particularly if they're heavy, on the bottom shelves where I have to constantly be bending down and lift and picking things up. Body can't handle that, at least not right now. So for me, it has to be, is this chair squeaking? Do you hear that? Sorry if it is, there. So for me, it has to be at a comfortable level for me to actually reach it and see it and pull it out. At the beginning of the year, I went to Azure Standard and I bought a ton of beans and rice. And I can show you in my pantry now that rice is almost gone because we use it so much. We eat so much of it. It's sprouted whole grain rice. Not easy to find, and when you find it, it's usually very expensive. So that's something that is, I keep it exactly where I can just reach in there, reach in there like that and take out what I need. So I reorganized everything, and now my pantry is a lot easier to navigate. And I can see, that's the other thing, make sure that you can see all the way to the back of your shelves, which you can't do when stuff is on the bottom shelf, because if you see it, you will use it. So no stooping, no bending, no climbing on steps to reach stuff. If it's up on the top shelf, it's because I hardly ever use it, or we hardly ever use it. And let me just say that I live with my mother. This is her house. It was her kitchen, and things weren't exactly organized in a way that made it easy for me to do all the cooking, which I do. And because I do mostly cooking from scratch, cooking at home, I needed to make my life a lot easier, so I have. Sorry, Mom, I threw out a bunch of stuff, but hey, it was all old and no one was gonna eat it. Okay, by the way, anything out of date, throw it out. Anything approaching its out of date, its expiration date, use it or toss it, because it just makes more room for things that you actually are going to use and eat. One of the things that helps me in my pantry, particularly because I tend to buy spices, especially from bulk bins, as well as nuts and seeds and things like that, is I went to Etsy and I got some labels. This particular vendor has labels that are like, they're different sets depending on what you need. So this particular set was nuts and dried fruits, seeds. These are things that I get from bulk bins usually, and usually they're just kept in their packages, in the bags that I bring them home in. But now, Container Store was having a sale. I got several of these jars. Here's one. These I love with the acacia lids. And these are going to be for pistachios and pecans, two nuts that I eat a lot. And so, yeah, pistachios, they had that. And this particular vendor, they have customizable labels. So let's say that you have a certain spice mix, like a spice blend, like I have my barbecue seasoning spice blend that I make, and I just made a Baharat spice blend, which is a Middle Eastern spice blend. So you can customize, you can actually put in an order for labels that will fit what you need. And all of these things make it easier to find things in your pantry, whether it's nuts and seeds and dried fruit like what I got, or flours, different flours, or beans and rice, those kinds of things. You can get labels for it, and really inexpensive. This little set was $8. So I'll link the Etsy vendor that I got these from in case you're interested. It's called Mori Designs. Number 2 is to have a few healthy time savers around. I recently picked up some granola, and it looks like something you could make in your kitchen. I keep frozen mashed potatoes that are just mashed potatoes with salt and a little butter. I keep that in the freezer so that when I need a quick side, I can grab that. And that's a lot better than keeping things that have got a lot of chemicals and preservatives and thickeners and things like that that are made from things that you really don't even consider natural, to say the least. In the category of time savers, I also wanted to add those kitchen utility items that you know that you're going to use over and over again. And for me, that little crock pot right there has become, every week I'm throwing something in there that I'm making. It's so easy. It's a perfect size for the two of us, myself and my mother, and I use it a lot more often than I thought I would. The other thing, where are you at? Yeah, let's go this way. Now I can't see it over there either. Hold on. Right here, this is our small food processor. Again, this is something else that I use all the time. First of all, it's not too big for two people. It's just the right size. And I first started making peanut butter because my mother bought a bunch, like a 5-pound bag of Spanish peanuts, and then decided she didn't like them because she didn't like the skin on the outside. So those went into the freezer where they've lived for like a year. And then I figured out, wait a minute, I can turn those things into peanut butter, and she loves it. I've made pistachio nut butter. I make a mean, small, personal-sized pizza dough in that thing. So having a mini-sized food processor, mini prep, or whatever you want to call it, for me has been, it's really hot in here, excuse me, for me has been, I use it a lot more than I thought I actually would. And you may have the same thing. You may be a big Instapot fan, or an air fryer pan, or a toaster oven that does a whole bunch of stuff. Many different things, like it microwaves, it toasts, it bakes. You've seen them. Things like that can not take up a lot of space, but can do a lot in the kitchen to speed up your prep as well as your actual cooking time. The other thing that I'm in the process of organizing is, can you see this? I'll give you a close-up of it. This is the most beautiful recipe book, customizable with my name. It says Cheryl's favorite recipes. And this book I'm putting together, this came from Etsy as well. I'm putting it together with these inserts that also came from an Etsy vendor. And these are going to be recipes that I go to all the time. If you've been with the channel long enough, you know that a few years ago I started intermittent fasting. I changed my diet completely to have more protein, more fat, less carbs, lots of vegetables, and all whole foods. Lots of bone broth is another one, and lots of whole foods. As a result, I lost about 20 pounds. And then I had gotten down to a point where I was getting uncomfortable with how much weight I was losing. I was down to 110 and still dropping. So in order to stabilize, I started adding back in carbs and sugars, breads, baked goods that I would make here at home in order to try and stabilize my weight at where I was. It didn't work. Even as slowly I crept up to another 6-8 pounds that I put on. And so recently, a couple of months ago, I cut out all sugar again. So going through all these changes in my diet, I have limited my recipes to some that I use all the time, over and over again. I don't have a lot of, like a lot of times I will pull a recipe out of a cookbook or somewhere, try it and not like it and never do it again. So I still do a lot of experimenting, but I needed recipes that would give me a high protein breakfast that would sustain me through to lunch, for example. And so this cookbook, along with these inserts, is where I'm going to keep those recipes. And many of them are some of my tried and true that are mine. Others come from cookbooks or blogs. I've recently discovered a blog called Eating Bird Food, and I've tried a few recipes and loved everything I tried from them. I love Ina Garten's roast chicken recipe. Make it at least once a month. And although I have it in a cookbook, in her cookbook, it takes longer to go to the cookbook in the dining room, dig through, find the recipe I need, as opposed to if I have it right here in a book like this, and here it is, I'm going to add it to this book. Here it is, her roast chicken recipe. I can just keep it in here, turn to the entree chicken page, and know that it's right here. I don't have to go looking, trying to find it in which cookbook did this come from, et cetera, et cetera. So something like this inspires me to cook more, and that's what I'm hoping that something like this will do for you. It will be more of an inspiration and keep you organized so that you can open this and see something and think, wow, that's my favorite meatloaf recipe. Let me just grab it and do it real quick, because I know I've got all the ingredients in my pantry for it and my freezer. And that's a whole another video about organizing our freezer. Our freezer's a mess. But can you relate? If so, put a Y in the comments below. That yes, you can relate to a freezer that is out of control, which ours is. Take a little time earlier in the week to prep. If you're off on the weekends and your day off is Sunday afternoon, maybe think through and plan out a few meals that you want to make, and then do the prep for them then. If it's chopping certain vegetables to go in a stew, chop them up, put them in a storage bag so that on Thursday when you're ready to make the stew, all of that stuff is done. I had a recipe from the bird food blog that I mentioned earlier for some tiramisu oats, overnight oats in a tiramisu kind of flavor. So I'm going to try that today. And if I like it tomorrow morning, I am going to then next weekend make like 3 of them. So that during the week, if I need a quick breakfast, then I can just grab that out of the refrigerator and eat it right then and there. Try and keep things that take more time. And honestly, if you sit and it's just a question of chopping vegetables, you can chop through a bunch of vegetables, throw them in a bag, and do that in like 5 minutes. When you come home and you're really tired and maybe you don't want to have a lot to do, you can throw a bunch of stuff in a sheet pan. You know, maybe you've thawed out some chicken parts or something, throw in a bunch of chopped vegetables, some spices, and you're off to the races. And spices, this is another one. To keep from getting bored, I keep a lot of different spices in my pantry. And then I put together spice blends. I'll show you what I mean. So here's some examples of what I was talking about. I've got, over here you can see za'atar spice, everything but the bagels, sesame seasoning. This is baharat. This is a Middle Eastern spice blend that I tried last night on grilled chicken and, I baked chicken breasts. Put this all over it. Had served it with some tzatziki sauce, some yogurt sauce that I made, and it was fantastic. I have a friend who likes to travel, and wherever she goes someplace exotic, I ask her to bring me a spice back. So I have, and it's almost gone. This is tagine spices from Morocco. Don't know they don't label what's in here, but every Moroccan household has their own sort of spice blend for the tagine. This is so freaking good. I make a tagine chicken. I think I share the recipe with you guys. And she also brought back some saffron, which I keep around like the real deal. Everyone should have a curry in your pantry. There's all different kinds. Everyone should have a chili powder. This one has got cinnamon and cocoa powder in it. Mwah! So I always get it. I love this one. If I was going to make my own, that's how I would make it. And then of course your basic Italian seasoning with all the herbs that you need to give an Italian flair to whatever it is you're cooking. So if you're making grilled tofu, for example, you can put any of these spice blends on it and give it an amazing flavor, because tofu is something that just absorbs whatever it is that you put on it. Maybe you're bored with salt and pepper and garlic. I would be. After a few, it wouldn't take long. Or you're making grilled chicken or grilled fish. Anything, or like a lentil salad and you don't know how to, or soups. You can take your za'atar and make a butternut squash soup and use this as your flavoring, and it will give it a really good, different flavor. Because especially at this time of year, these spice blends are warming spice blends. They use warming spices. For example, the baharat, this uses cinnamon, nutmeg, cumin, coriander, all of these warming spices. Sumac, if you don't have sumac, you can substitute cloves, again, another warming spice. Cardamom is in here, and some of these recipes call for paprika, which I did not use, but you can. And it just gives that sort of fall, winter warmth to whatever it is that you're cooking. Yeah, we're talking about food. I could go on for hours. So I mentioned that I made my own tzatziki sauce. Also, I make my own hummus. These are things that you can put on, for example, a sandwich to make it a little less boring. It's better than mayonnaise and mustard. And it gives you a different, not only a different flavor profile, but different nutritional profile as well. Because chickpeas, garbanzo beans are really, really good for you. And having them in hummus is a great way to do it. So these are all ways to sort of keep your homemade cooking interesting. Because if it's interesting, then you're going to want to do it. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to give you things that will make it not only easy for you to do it, but to also make you want to do it. If you're someone, for example, who loves Greek food, a quick tzatziki and hummus will take, and adding a little oregano to whatever it is that you're eating, will take that meal right to the Greek islands. Add some olive oil and you're all good to go. So don't be afraid to try something new. Many of these spice blends are made from spices that you probably already have on hand. I mean, cinnamon, cloves, cumin, nutmeg. We all have that stuff. You may not have sumac, but you may have cloves, and if you don't have sumac, you should try it. It's really good. My barbecue spice rub, I don't have it right now because 4th of July we barbecued some ribs, but it's the kind of thing that you can customize for yourself. I think it's the best barbecue spice rub I've ever had, and I've had some barbecue spice rubs, but that's me, you know? So you can do you, but if you have something like that, you can rub it on chicken and throw it in the oven and bake it off, and you end up with barbecue chicken. Finally, my last tip is to bring some relaxation and calm to your cooking experience. I love to have something like this on hand to sip on while I'm cooking. This is acerola cherry powder mixed with some Italian lime sparkling water. And sipping on this right now is not only really good, but it's also take that moment to just settle in yourself, restore a little bit of calm, and sip on something satisfying while you're making your meal. If it's cold where you are, hot tea or hot coffee or bone broth even, anything that's going to make you feel calmer and more relaxed and allow you to go about what you're doing in a deliberate manner that saves you from getting all frazzled and having your energy dissipated because you're running back and forth trying to do too many things at once. We don't want that. We want food where you can channel your sense of calm and well-being into the meal, because that meal is going to reinforce your sense of calm and well-being. So, cheers. It's really good. I love any kind of citrus, all in water, in like a sparkling water, and sipping on that, because electrolytes and soothing, calming, and it's hot, so it's also cooling. So anyway, that's where I'm gonna leave you. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed it and want to see more from me, then please consider subscribing. Here we talk about things, health and wellness and beauty and aging in a very holistic, natural way. So I'd love to see you again. I love it when you leave me a little note letting me know what's going on with you. And yeah, just coming back and visiting. So until I see you in my next video, I just want to wish you a wonderful day, wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves. Eat really well. And I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bye.